So guys, the UN Secretary General is back there about a block. I was going to try to film him coming out of UN headquarters at the UN Washington office, but somebody's screaming down here. Let's go check this out. Boy, there's a bunch of people out here today. They got the road blocked over here. Big speakers, bicycle police coming down the road now. Code Pink is over here. Boy, it's just a collection of protests. This is a plywood tank, flowers and whatnot. Sounds like, yeah, those are the Tigray people. This is a climate protest. Big oil. Break up with big oil. Protect our common home. That's the Tigray people we saw yesterday. Uh-oh, they brought out the horses. So this is a poverty protest. We have the Tigray people, we got the oil people, then we got these people over here in yellow. I don't know what they're about. The UN Secretary General is probably coming over here shortly. The UN Secretary General's limos. He's in the UN building right now. Guys, that's the UN Secretary General's motorcade. Stuck in traffic. Yeah. They're all stuck. Here he comes.
Second. As soon as they pass. Yeah.
So guys, today is Friday, October 14th, and for those who don't know, it is the grand reopening of the Air and Space Museum on the National Mall. Now, not the whole museum, just part of it. It's been closed for about a year, and I've got a ticket to take you there. So, as soon as we finish this lovely lunch we're gonna have up here, then we're gonna go to the Air and Space Museum. First, Korean fried chicken though. Yeah, there it is. Momo Chicken Grill. This is a Korean fried chicken place. I feel like Korean fried chicken. Okay, all the fried chicken takes like 15-20 minutes to cook because they cook it fresh, and I gotta get to the Air and Space Museum in 30, so Korean tacos, they're faster. Let's do that. Alright guys, it's Korean taco time. There's green stuff in here. I guess it's a vegetable. The front of the line. Maybe not. Maybe not. So I'm not in the front of the line. Oh well. Now we are moving. That side is still under construction over there. So we're only going to see half the museum. It's actually moving pretty fast. It's taking me about 10 minutes to go down and through the line. All right, let's go in, guys. Yep. This one? Yep. And we're in. That's the same. That old painting is still here. And this is a Goddard rocket, if I remember right. Yeah, it's a Goddard hoop skirt rocket. Oh wow, there's a basement level now. That was always staff. That must be the cafeteria. Okay guys, let's go in. Oh, I see some things I recognize. Honestly, it looks like an airport. Museum store is still in the same place. An amazing museum store. Okay, this is the Wright Brothers. Well, we might as well start with the start, yeah? So guys, we are in the Air and Space Museum. We're going into the Wright Brothers exhibit because in here they got their planes. Orville and Wilbur Wright. And there's a Wright bicycle. They used to make bicycles. Boy, that's a collector's edition. And this is the Wright Flyer. This is the first Wright Brothers aircraft, I think. Or is this the military one? Let's go around. One of their gliders.
It's pretty amazing to actually have the real thing. Oh, their actual plane.
He can do it on his phone.
There we go. This is some of the original fabric from 1903. Very fine, tight fabric. So up there, that's one of their gliders. That's from 1902. And then the plane itself was 1903. Wright Flyer. This sample of wood and fabric was carried to the moon by the crew of Apollo 11. So the Smithsonian gave them a piece of wood and a piece of fabric from the Wright Flyer, and it went to Tranquility Base with the crew of Apollo 11. Cool. We all fly. This is a stunt plane, like a gyrocopter kind of thing. That's not a gyrocopter, it's like one of those parasails. And a Cessna. The golden age of flight. Charles Lindbergh's flight suit. Right here, guys, this is the flight suit of Charles Lindbergh. And Lincoln Ellsworth, Charles Kingsford's first Trans-Pacific flight. And there's the, is that Wiley Post? No. George Novell's park. George Novell, he flew with Byrd to the second Antarctic expedition. And of course, there was Amelia Earhart. And this is a different guy. This is Dale White. Oh, he was an African-American flyer. One of the early African-American flyers. So that's one of the cars. That's an aero car, yeah? So it disconnects, and then you have an airplane. That's the airplane attachment. So drive that down the street, and then snap that thing on and fly home. There's a jet. Photo, by the way, this is Woodrow Wilson presiding on the first airmail service. Went from West Potomac Park. This is down by the Martin Luther King Memorial, where it is today. And this flew, I think, to, where did it go, to New York? Yeah, or Philadelphia. The first airmail service. There's Wilson talking to the pilot. There's a helicopter up here, though. Let's swing out this way. Now, most of those planes are the same. I don't think they changed any of those. Then they added maybe one or two. But the big C-40, the DC-3, the tri-motor, the 747 nose system, nose cone, that TWA plane, these are all the planes that were here prior in this commercial flight gallery. Douglas DC-3, the 4A Alpha, 247D, that's a Boeing plane. You know what though, we gotta, to see this, to see all this, which is up high, we have to go up high ourselves. Let's go upstairs, yeah? So this is an exhibit on early flight, the dream of early flight. Some models of old Chinook aircraft. Chinook gliders, 1896. Lots of beautiful old planes up here. I think the Wright military flyer is here, yeah. This is the Wright military flyer. So this is the first warplane ever. I think it's also the first plane ever involved in a fatal accident. The world's first military aircraft. The Wright military flyer. So this was built for the Army. They flew from Fort Myers, just across the river, and they killed a guy. Yeah, they had the first accident. Yeah, they flew from Fort Myer down to the Masonic Temple. That was the turnaround point for their 10-mile trip. Fort Myer to Alexandria. beautiful old propellers carved in the wood. So yeah, this was the crash killed Lieutenant Thomas Selfridge, the first person to die in a powered aircraft. And it was a split propeller, and it crashed at Fort Myer. 26-year-old, he was killed. Now, the Wright was in there. Was it Orville or Wilbur? Wilbur, I think. He was injured badly, but he survived. Oh no, Orville. Orville had back pains the rest of his life. So he was in there and he was injured. Oh, video games. Okay, let's go up. That's a T-38. Field lead for speed.
Are we gonna do that one before we leave?
This used to be the U.S. Navy section. There's an X-43 scramjet model. Is that the actual X-43? There's a Corvette. I have no idea why that's here. It's about speed and everything. Speed in boats, speed by trains, speed in cars. What's this thing? Oh, this is the fastest man on Earth. Sonic Wind 1. This rocket sled. Yeah, this guy, this was nuts. Yeah, he had 46.2 Gs. 46.2 Gs, setting the top speed record pretty much ever on this rocket-powered sled. Yeah, said it felt like a extraction of a molar without anesthetic. 3,000 feet in 1.4 seconds. He had no permanent injuries, a speed of record of 632 miles per hour. Got a little NASCAR here. Richard Petty's NASCAR. And then we've got, what is this thing? Motorcycle insanity. That's nuts to ride that. This really is just about speed. BMW S1000 land speed record motorcycle. 219 miles per hour. I'm not sure if that's, I mean, driving around DC, I see people do that. And of course, you gotta have the jaws of life. This is one of the original jaws of life. It was made for NASCAR people, basically, and racers to break them out of the cars. Mario Andretti. Some bricks from, that must be the Brickyard, yeah, the Indy 500 Brickyard. Oh, there's an Evel Knievel pinball machine. What do you gotta do, jump the Snake River? This looks insane.
Jameson, please wait.
Exploring the planets. This is one of the old exhibits I remember. Looks like it's been renovated. This used to be the World War II section. Kepler. What's over here? There's the relative size of all the planets up there. Jupiter, Saturn, Earth. And there's a Voyager probe. Not the real one, because it got captured and turned into Voyager and that attacked the Enterprise. I don't know, I'm thinking of a really bad movie. Mars Explorer. The Marie Curie rover. What's this one? Mars Laboratory rover. That's huge. A Martian sees this, many freak out. Oh, Sojourner. This came on Pathfinder. So these are not the real ones, of course. They're on another planet, but these are the backups that were built by NASA. That thing is huge. Okay, what do we got here? Exploration. Oh, Destination Moon. All right, so they redid the moon section. There's some space boots from Apollo 17. The moon rock is not out right now. I think that's still locked up. That's the Russian rover, I think. Nuncoid, Estonian made. Here's the lunar buggy. I actually got to drive one of these when I was a kid. I was down at Cape Canaveral with my dad, and they let me drive one of these. It was so cool. Of course, there was a guy next to me who was actually probably driving it, but I would say I had my hand on the control. It was pretty awesome. F1 engine parts. Oh wow, these are like blown to bits.
It's different parts of it. Yeah, so
Wow, these were in the bottom of the ocean for 44 years. Jeff Bezos helped fund the money to pull these out of the ocean. These are some of the engines that came off the rockets as it launched into space. The original is the Apollo 11 command module, Columbia. This went on a tour this went on a 50-state tour, and then it was brought back to Washington. For a long time, it was surrounded in just plexiglass. It was like in like a piece of plastic, but they opened it up. Now they just the glass around here. There's Michael Collins, the guy who grew up in Washington, D.C. Yeah, the loneliest man on Earth. While Armstrong and Aldrin were on the moon, he was orbiting all by himself. Yeah, and there's his watch. And a Velcro strap. Here's some of the stuff they left on the moon. Sample bags. They've got the tent. So this is what it looked like. They replay the last minute of the landing as it would look from the lander. That's all they could see. Door. This is the Apollo 11 Block 2 Unified Hatch. That is from the command module. It's just displayed separately. This is the original type of door, but during the Apollo 1 test, I believe it's what caused the death. Yeah, the 3 astronauts who died. So they redesigned the door like this to make it easier to bail out. There's the 3 guys: Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, all who died in Apollo 1. F1 engine. There are 5 of them, and they designed this so it would look like what it would really be. So there's actually 1.5 engines here, 1.25. But with the mirrors, you get the optical illusion of what it looks like underneath the Saturn V. So this is what it would look like if you were standing under a Saturn V rocket. Warning suit. Second version. What is this? Pressure one. And this blue one. This is a pressure 5th generation suit without the cover layer. So these are basically the suits without the white cover layer. And then that's the backpack, which was their life support system. There's the sewing machine, guys. That was one of many sewing machines used to build the suits. So this is the Gemini 7 capsule. 2 men going up in precursor missions, Gemini missions, after Mercury, before Apollo. And that, yeah, that's the Mercury capsule over there. Let's go over and take a look at it. Freedom 7. This is Alan Shepard's capsule, guys. Well, that's a little more recent edition, actually from the crappy movie. That's an X-Wing Fighter from the prequel, I think The Rise of Skywalker. They added that as a donation from the studio. Now, half of the museum is still closed. Half of it is just over there, out of sight. I think, if you look around this corner, though, you can see the Spirit of St. Louis. Yep, there it is. That is Charles Lindbergh's plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, awaiting its final destination somewhere in the museum, but they rolled it out here temporarily, so you can see the Spirit of St. Louis. And this looks like an exhibit on One World Connected satellites and spy planes. Oh, look at this globe. I love this globe. I want to build a globe like this with a real-time weather map. Wouldn't that be just cool? Like have it in my house, like a projection globe. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm gonna figure it out. Can you imagine a real-time weather map put on a globe like this? It would be so cool. So cool. Wow, that's a big dish. Oh, yeah, this is a simulator. This is what it looks like in the space station. So in the space station, there's a window, and you can look out the window just as if you were in the space station. It's interesting, it's not as much aircraft focused. It seems more focused on the world and more general. Now the movie theater is still dark. The planetarium is reopened, but not the movie theater. There's the T-70 X-Wing Starfighter, oh boy. Explaining why it's called an X-Wing. If you need an explanation why it's called an X-Wing, go watch. Yeah, we're going to the gift shop. This has got, or had at one time, one of the best aviation bookstores in DC. They had some really great titles. Don't know if they still have all those books, but let's go check it out and see. Legos. Barbie astronauts. Cool. NASA stuff. I need a new jacket. There's actually a NASA store down the street. Spacesuits.
Like a dessert for lunch.
I don't need one. Mine fits. I'm kidding. I don't have a spacesuit. Albert Einstein hats. That's pretty funky. Oh, look at these. Plushy Albert Einsteins. Spaceship scarves. Look at that. It's a Saturn V scarf. Control. New hats. Socks. Ties. Ooh, SR-71 tie. My kids wear ties every day. Tempting. B-25 Mitchell. Ooh, $65. My kids aren't worth it. Spend enough on their school. Coffee mugs. Ooh, Christmas ornaments. That's the payoff for putting the X-Wing here. You get to sell R2-D2 coffee mugs in the gift shop. That's pretty cool. No. Mr. Spock plushies, but also Spock ears. Who needs Spock ears? Spock socks. Tribbles. Oh my god, they're selling tribbles. Cool. Well, take a look at this, guys. This is a Lego spacesuit. This was a master builder in action. That is the Air and Space Museum. Well, partially. That's about 8 of the exhibits. There are probably going to be another 8 to 10 once the whole thing reopens. Of course, the main entrance lobby still closed off. That's where all the really big planes are, like the Glamorous Glennis and the Moon Rock and all that stuff. We'll keep waiting till the end of the year. I'll bring you back here when it's all open again. And for now, let's wander out on the mall and see what else is going on. I missed this when I came in. What was I thinking? It is the Enterprise. This is the actual model from the movie. And it lights up every hour on the hour, apparently. That was a beautiful model, wasn't it? Okay, guys, so that was my Friday in Washington, D.C. Started with protests, ended with the Air and Space Museum. Air and Space Museum is a work in progress. They've only got about 8 exhibits up, and to be honest, they really didn't have a lot of planes. I was a tad surprised compared to the Dulles, which is just hundreds of planes. This had very few, but I'm hopeful. A few more months, it'll all open up again, and I'll take you back there, and we'll see what other cool stuff they've got. Thanks a lot for watching today. No idea what we'll do this weekend, but if you subscribe, you'll see me again. We'll do something cool. Bye now.